Preston and Washington Post political reporter Philip Bump. Good evening, gentlemen. Mark, despite the fact that he claims he is winning, the numbers look pretty bleak for Donald Trump, at least electoral-wise, if you listen to what John King says. What's the best case scenario for him?
Best case scenario is that his campaign turns around and he's able to pick up support in states such as New Hampshire, pick up a very key congressional district up in Maine, that he turns it around in Colorado, where he is behind right now. And that's not even putting Pennsylvania on the board, but quite frankly, he needs his message that he has in Ohio to transfer over to Pennsylvania, certainly the western part of the state, and see if it can grow into Philadelphia. Otherwise, he's got a very difficult path, and again, he's got to win Florida and North Carolina on top of that. It is difficult.
Yeah, he's got a ways to go. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say it's worse than difficult. There's essentially, you saw it right there. Looking at the map as the way it is, Hillary Clinton's over 300 electoral votes. This is not something, and we're also 2 weeks from Election Day tomorrow, and it's not like there's another debate. He doesn't have an opportunity to get
depending on who you talk to, 15 days, that's a long time, or you say, no, it's not such a long time. If you're trying to right a ship or turn the ship around, that is not a long time.
No,
but if something happens,
right.
There's something can always happen to change.
But to Philip's point here is that 15 days, and the trend line has been, let's look back at the last 2 months. We haven't really seen the needle move too much either way right now. And if anything, we've seen it go more towards Hillary Clinton, certainly in the past few weeks. And I don't know what could be out there that could really help. And the WikiLeaks stuff, you think, was the October surprise, by the way. That was the October surprise. And guess what? It wasn't that much of a surprise, because he himself has really clouded over that message.
Yeah, he stepped on his own, as you said, stomped on his.
You
said the last hour. It's pretty clear that the Hillary Clinton and the Democrats are focusing on down ballot races. Are they putting the cart before the horse? Should they just be trying to get her elected, or can they, all these cliches, can they walk and chew gum at the same time?
Right. No, I think it's important, right? I think it is important for Hillary Clinton. She wants to go into the White House. She wants to be able to have at least some sort of bulwark in the Senate to make sure that she, has a backstop there, can maybe get some stuff passed there that she can work in the House with. For whoever comes into the presidency, it's going to be tough for them to get things through Congress. But secondarily, I think it is helpful in a state like New Hampshire, for example, where there are two women running for the Senate seat. It's helpful for the Democrats to go there and remind New Hampshire voters of who is at the top of the Republican ticket. It is a man who's very unpopular with women. There are all sorts of echo effects, I think, that make focusing on Senate races helpful.
Yeah. The president has really been ripping Republicans who supported Trump, backed away from him, and then supported him again. Today he was speaking at a fundraiser in California. Here's what he told the crowd. He said, "We've got to work as hard as we can, not just to make sure that Hillary wins, but to make sure she wins big, to send a clear message about who we are as a people. We want to win big. We don't just want to eke it out, particularly when the other guys already started to gripe about how the game is rigged." So he's looking to crush Trump. How much of a landslide would help Hillary Clinton govern, give her a mandate?
Well, let's just go back to the crushing part. Not only does he want to crush Trump because he hates Donald Trump, right? This is the Donald Trump who tried to say that he wasn't a U.S. citizen. But also, this just goes to show you where Barack Obama is at his point in his presidency. It's all done. There's nothing is going to happen anymore on Capitol Hill. They will get some kind of stopgap spending measure, which will basically fund the government into the new year at some point. They'll try to figure that out after the election. But Barack Obama right now is just out there to try to build up any reinforcements he can for Hillary Clinton, because it is a third term of Barack Obama. As much as, Democrats don't like to say that, it is. This is a third term of Barack Obama.
I don't think they mind saying that. Barack Obama's at 54% approval.
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk more about that then, because in 2008 and 2012, he won by pretty large margins, and then it was but he had obstruction, right, from Republicans throughout his 2 years. Is there such thing as a mandate anymore?
No, that's a very, very good question. And I think one of the things that we see about this push to have a very large victory, I think it's less about a mandate than it is about showing the world that there is a rejection of what Trump stands for. I think that's something you hear commonly in the Democratic Party and on the left, is that's one reason they really want to beat Trump badly, to say, hey, all of these racists and the alt-rights that have embraced Donald Trump, it's a rejection of them. But no, we're already hearing some folks talking about how, well, yes, Hillary Clinton won, but but she doesn't have a mandate because she was only running against Donald Trump, and the guy basically ran no campaign, is a terrible candidate. We're already hearing that stuff. There's always going to be spin about what is and isn't a mandate. We saw in 2004, George Bush had this mandate when he barely won. I mean, it's all right. Relevant.
And Bush was going to take that mandate and privatize Social Security, which never happened.
Right.
Yeah, I want to ask you, because it is not unheard of that an incumbent president will, support the Democratic candidate and campaign, even though I've heard some Trump supporters saying that's never happened in the history of our country. And you're like, well, yes, it always happens, except if you're Al Gore and
or unpopular,
eventually regret it, right? That not having Bill Clinton do it. But this is personal for the First Lady and for the President. Is it because of the birther thing, or is it just because they just are so opposed to what Donald Trump stands for or says or does?
I think it might be more personal for the First Lady than it is for the President, right? In many ways. If you see her on the campaign trail the past few weeks, she just lights it up. She, for all the anger and perhaps personal hatred that Barack Obama might have for Donald Trump, times that by 10 for Michelle Obama, who was attacking, the father of her children, who's attacking her husband, somebody who she gave up. Remember, Michelle Obama did not want him to run. Like, this was not something that they wanted to do. And she gave up 8 years of her life to go in there and basically raise her children in the White House, only to see somebody try to tear it down. So there is, a lot of animosity there.
Gentlemen, thank you very much, and congratulations, by the way. He's going to be a dad soon in January. Would you say post?
It's true. Post-inauguration, yeah, that's true.
Post-inauguration.
Thank you, sir.
Little Philip Jr. coming. I can't wait for him to get him on the show and see what he thinks about this. We come right back.